Hello. Today I'll be talking about the greatest common factor, and we usually use this when we're factoring polynomials such as trinomials when we're using the AC method. So this is just the basic part of factoring, not exactly the most complicated. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find what all the terms have in common. And then you take it out. And when you take it out, it's the opposite of distributing. So to figure out what you have left, you divide by what you took out. So let's take a look at our first example. We have 4x squared minus 8x plus 12. And we're trying to look at what they have in common. Well, we have the numbers 4, 8, and 12. We know 4 goes into all of those. And there's nothing else these terms really have in common. So all we could take out is a 4. And then we look at what we have left by dividing each of these by 4. So we have 4x squared divided by 4. The only thing that's going to change is the number. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. X squared stays the same. So we just are left with 1x squared. Don't have to write the 1. Minus 8x. So negative 8 divided by 4 is minus 2x. Remember, we're not touching the x's, so those stay. Plus 12 divided by 4 is 3. And that'll do it. If you distribute this back, you'll get right back to here again. Okay? Next example, we have x to the fourth minus 3x cubed minus x squared. Well, there's no number in front of either of these. So we're probably going to be taking out an x, or multiple x's. So we see this term has 4 x's, this term has 3, and this has 2. So the max amount of x's that we can take out are 2. Because there are 2 in this term, 3 in this term, 4 in this term. So we can take out 2 of them. Always take out the least number of x's, or the least exponent. So if we take out 2 x's from 4 x's, and remember, if we're dividing, we subtract exponents. So we have x to the fourth, take away x squared, we're left with x squared. That sign stays the same. We didn't take out a negative. So minus 3 times x cubed, take away 2 x's, you have 1 left. And finally minus x squared, take away x squared. So minus x squared divided by itself is 1. Whenever you take away something completely, you're dividing, so it goes to 1. Whenever you divide something by itself. Don't cancel it out, because then it'll be wrong. Alright, next one. 9x squared y minus 3xy plus 6y. Alright, so first we look at what they have in common. We have a 9, a 3, and a 6. We know we can take out a 3 out of all of those. So that's the first thing. And we have x squared, x, and there's no x here. If there's no x here, can't take out an x. But there is a y in every term. So we take out a y as well. If we take out a y, remember we're dividing, one y is going to disappear from each of these. And they all only have one y. So the y is going to go away in all these. 9 divided by 3 is 3. X squared doesn't change. Didn't touch the x's. We only took out a y. Minus 3 divided by 3 is 1, so you don't have to write it. And we're left with an x, took away the y. Plus 6 divided by 3, so plus 2. And we took away the y, so the y is gone. So that's that one. And the last one looks complicated, but it actually really is not that bad. So look at your numbers first. There's 2 terms here. We're looking at what they have in common. 8 and 16. What goes into 8 and 16? 8 does. So you take out an 8. How many x's can we take out? Remember, we look at the least number of x's. So we have 6 here and 4 here. So you take out 4. Then you look at the y's. We have 4 y's here and only 1 here. So we can take out 1 y and 2 z's. And remember, when you take out something with an exponent, you're pretty much just subtracting the exponents. So 8 divided by 8 is 1 from the first term. X to the 6, we take away 4 x's, so we're left with 2 in the first term. X squared. Y to the fourth, took away 1 y. So we have y cubed. Z squared took away Z squared. Z disappeared. Plus, now we're working on the second term. And remember, if you distribute this, you should go back to here. Alright, so you should be able to multiply this with what you get here to go back to here. 16 divided by 8 is 2. X to the fourth, we took away 4 x's. They're gone. Y to the first, took away a y. That's gone. We have 9 z's here, taking away 2. So we have 7 z's left here. Alright, and the last thing I'm going to talk about for this section is factoring by grouping. And this is really used when you're doing the AC method in factoring trinomials. So you need to know how to do it. So, first one. It might look like more, but really here we only have 2 terms. We have this term and this term. And we're doing the same thing. We're looking for what they have in common. Well, this term and this term both have an x minus 1. And if you take away an x minus 1 from both of these, what do you have left? Pretty much everything that's on the outside of the parentheses. 3x plus 2. Now, if you were to distribute this and add like terms, and then FOIL this, they'd be the same thing. So you can check by doing that. So let's look at our next example. They didn't make it so clean for us this time. If we're factoring by grouping, we have to look at it this way. And whatever's in the parentheses has to be the same. If it's not, you did something wrong. So we look at our first two and our last two separately. So we have 8x squared minus 4x. What can we take out of that? Well, they both have 4 in common, and they both have at least one x. So we can take out a 4x. If we take out a 4x, we're going to have 2x here. That's a 2. Minus 4x divided by 4x is 1. So 2x minus 1. Whatever that sign is, stays the same. So we're taking out a positive 3 out of this one. And what do we have left? Divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2x. Minus 3 divided by 3 is 1. And perfect, because we have both of the parentheses the same. And that's what you need, because you have to factor out the 2x minus 1 now. So that's going to give us our final answer. Everything on the inside of the parentheses goes in 1. Everything on the outside of the parentheses, 4x plus 3, goes in the other. So that's number 2. And the last one, I'll work downwards this time. We have x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6. Very similar to what we just did. We could take out an x out of this. And we have, if we take away 1x from each of those, x minus 2 left. Whatever that sign is, drops down. What can we take out of these two? Well, 3 and 6 both have a 3 in common. So we take out a 3. There's not an x here, so you can't take out an x. And we took out a negative 3. You have to notice that negative sign. So negative 3 divided by negative 3 leaves us with 1, and the x stays. We didn't take that out. Then we have 6 divided by negative 3. So that's going to be negative 2. And that's where the most common mistake happens. People will forget they took out a negative, and they'll keep that positive. Then these aren't the same. So they broke a rule. So, answer, everything on the inside of the parentheses goes in 1. Everything on the outside goes in the other. And that'll be it.